educators. It is Tuesday morning, March 4th, and hope everybody's staying safe out there on those icy roads. There is a bit of green showing this morning in Missoula between the huge snowdrifts, so hopefully spring is on its way. We are ready to open up our blast of information about SBAC technology readiness. Volume 4 today, we're going to be talking about secure browsers and Chromebooks. Just to remind you, if you haven't been on a blast before, your microphones and cameras are disabled. We will have a guest presenter. Actually, today we'll have two. If you have questions during the blast, please type them into the text box at the right side of your screen, and then we'll have a Q&A time about 10 minutes into the presentation where you can get all of your SBAC questions answered, hopefully. The blasts, remember, are archived on the metasbac.org website, and there should be some quick information sheets also there archived. We're trying to get you as much information as possible as we roll out the Smarter Balanced Field test. The blasts occur weekly at the same time and the same link. We have a few more in the series, so please join us every Tuesday from 9:30 until 9:50. All right, without further ado, I'm Kathleen Den. I'm an educational consultant, and I'm the facilitator for this blast series. It's put on by the Montana Digital Professional Learning Network, and our friend Curtis Biggs is in the background watching for questions and helping us out. Our guest presenters this morning are, again, our friend from Lewistown Public Schools, Terry Lancutis, and she's being joined by Rob Reynolds, who's the technologist for Eureka Public Schools. And I just have to put a plug in for the MetaSBAC project. These two got together through the MetaSBAC dating service. In other words, they are both technologists, they both had questions, and through the MetaSBAC project have found each other and have done a great collaboration of helping each other through all of this. And so they're going to share what they've learned today on secure browsers and workstations, particularly on Chromebooks. Good morning, Terry and Rob. How are you this morning?
I'm doing great.
Good morning. I'm fine here in Lewistown. We have balmy 37 degrees, sun shines. We're good.
Awesome.
We got a great dump of snow up here.
Oh, well, yeah, the next thing's going to be the flooding. That should be fun. Anyway, let's go ahead. We can't do anything about the weather, but we can do something about secure browsers. So I'm going to turn off my microphone and camera, and we will proceed. Just remind you to let me know when I need to change.
All right. Well, as far as the general information, again, the best thing to do for your secure browser is to go to the SBAC portal browser website. The link is right there on your screen, and on that screen is where you can go get any browser that you need for any device, and there's also information there about each device. So that's the best place. That's the first place to go to get the downloads for your browsers. Then there's also the technical specifications manual, and there's the link to that as well. And within that, it gives you a lot more detail about what to do once you have those browsers installed and how to go about the different pieces of getting your technology ready. And then on the next slide, we just want to remind you that what we've done is install the secure browser on every individual computer. I think that's probably a safer thing. It's not necessarily, maybe there's other ways that you could go about doing it. If you wanted to try serving it from a server, you could certainly give that a shot if you wanted to. I don't know that that's going to work, but that's up to you. And I would highly suggest that any method that you're going to use, try it first and make sure it's all going to work. And as far as ways to install the secure browser, then on the next slide, there's 3 ways to do that SBAC talks about. And I've done option 1 and 3. I have either accessed it directly from the internet and downloaded it onto the individual computers. We also have it on one of our servers here in the district, and then I've accessed it that way too. I haven't actually put it on a flash drive, but I don't know why that wouldn't work. And Rob, has that been your experience as well?
Are putting it on browsers the exact same way in our labs, but we are also for our 7th and 8th grade using Chromebooks and running it that way, which we're getting to that part here shortly.
Yep. So as far as putting it on computers or iPads or Chromebooks, whatever device you're using, you are going to need to use that secure browser. So make sure you go to that website and get those different versions and get those installed. And then as far as going directly onto the Chromebooks, the next slide we talk about using the Chromebook in kiosk mode, and that's what we've chosen to do here in Lewistown, and it's worked really well so far. And the reason we went into doing it in kiosk mode is that it allows us just to have it as soon as the kids open up the Chromebook. They don't even really have to log into the Chromebook as a user. They can just start up the secure test right from that mode. So again, there's information on that browser portal site from SBAC on how to set up your Chromebook in kiosk mode. And what you want to do is make sure that you scroll all the way to the bottom of that page and then click on the left-hand side there. It says Google Chromebooks, and that's where you'll follow the steps. That's all I did, and it was real easy. And on the next slide,
And
as
a
far
note
as any...
too, I just wanted to add a note on that because I know when I first went to that website, I accessed it through Chrome, and the sidebar for some reason covered up the instructions. So if you get there and it doesn't look like you can get to the right place, just switch and use a different browser like Firefox or Internet Explorer.
That's a great tip, yep. And so as far as then the suggested use right now with Chromebooks is that you have them be in a domain managed Chromebook, not a standalone. There is information they've said coming out for a standalone Chromebook. This is the only instance that I can think of would be if like a kid owns a Chromebook of their own and for some reason brings it to school and wants to use it for the testing. That might be one instance where you have a Chromebook that's not managed using Google Apps for education. So if you're not a school that's already managing your domain with Google, then you might be in that situation as well. So you'll just have to keep watching for information on that, because right now everything I've looked at it says that there's no instructions available yet for non-managed devices. So that might be another instance where you say, well, maybe it's best to just use the computers then and not the Chromebooks. But in our case, all of our Chromebooks are managed through the Google Apps, and it's worked really well. You also have to have the Chromes at version 31 at least, so that's the minimum operating system. And then again, the nice part about having them in kiosk mode is that the students don't have to log in to take the test. So the screenshot on this slide, you can see the way it looks. They open up the Chromebook, and over on the left-hand side, right next to the shutdown, it says apps, and they click on that, and then there's that air secure test. They just click on that, and it goes directly into the test, and they're good to go. And we've had a number of classes that have taken them this way, and so far they worked really well for us. And Rob, are you just now getting to this point of doing this way at your school?
That's correct. Like Kathleen said in the beginning, you and I just kind of touched base last week, I think it was, and we've jumped right into all of this. And that's where we were at. I mean, there's so much information out on the Smarter Balance site that it can get confusing. And so I sent out an email and got your name back, and you and I got on the phone, and you shared what you had done. And basically, it's very simple. You know, if you're in the apps management console, just going into that kiosk mode. And I guess part of it depends on how you run your Chromebooks. If you are in a true one-to-one where students have them, which is what we have, students take them home and they're theirs for the school year, versus like a lab setting, you might change the way you run that. If you're doing testing, there is the ability to have the air secure automatically load as soon as you power up the machine, or have it load up like the image is showing on the slide there, where it's just an extra app, and as soon as you click that app, now it takes you into the secured browser for that. But you can cancel out of it at some point in the test and get back into your Chromebook. The reason we're setting it up that way is so that students can still utilize their Chromebooks for other purposes when they're not testing. When they take them home, they can still do their homework, or in class when they're not testing, they can drop out of the test. But you can't have two things open at one time. So we're doing it pretty much the same way.
Cool. All right. And then the next slide, there's 3 ways that, again, this is information from that website that we referenced earlier. And the 3 scenarios that they talk about are single app kiosk, new domain, or public session kiosks. And we're pretty much with scenario 3, where we, the school, deliver the assessment through the kiosks. Whereas my understanding of the scenario 1 would be, again, the test provider, which would be SBAC, would have to create the exam as a kiosk app, and the app runs in full screen mode. And that, again, I think is where if you have a Chromebook that is not managed, and then the same with scenario 2, the test provider has to provide you a domain if you're not, if, say, for instance, if the student had a Chromebook that was registered to their own domain or some other domain from a different school.
Now, Terry, did you mean single app kiosk is the way you are running it, not the public sessions kiosk?
No, I think we're doing a public session as the way, because we're delivering it through the kiosk.
Okay.
And then as far as the pre-requirements for the Chromebooks, in order for them to be used this way, the Chromebook, you have to have, it has to be managed by the school. And then the school also has to enroll each device in the domain. So whatever domain it, is set up to deliver this test, then you have to be enrolled in that domain. And in our case, the Chromebooks are already enrolled in our Lewistown domain, so all we had to do then was just go into our management console and set it up to access that, to be in kiosk mode, and then to access that app that AirSecure has put out there. And again, all of this information and the steps on how to do this is at the link on the screen. And the other thing that both of us have, Rob at Eureka and here in Lewistown too, we've modified our wireless networks a little bit in order to better accommodate this. And I'm going to let Rob talk a little bit about what they've done up there to do this.
Okay, and we haven't done any big changes necessarily, but the at bandwidth issues was a big concern using the Chromebooks because they can't plug in hardwired, and so making sure that you have dedicated bandwidth to the Chromebooks is something you'll want to consider. And the way we did that is just change the access points that we have. So previously we had staff access point and we had student access point, and all the Chromebooks along with students' personal devices, iPods and stuff like that, we're all connecting to that, and we'd see large spikes in use from personal devices. And so we just created a third guests network, and now we are password protecting and not providing the password to students for a devices access. So all of our school Chromebooks basically, or any other iPad devices, will connect to just that one access point, and the guest will be able to control access to that. So during testing, we'll be able to turn off that access point so student devices won't be taking up our bandwidth, and hopefully that'll allow us to provide adequate bandwidth during testing periods.
Great. All right. That's it for our part.
Great, thanks you two. I think the most powerful thing that I heard out of that is that we all need to lean on each other and get these answers and work through it. Remember that the Meta SBAC project is dedicated to helping school districts get through this field test this first time. There will be a help desk open during testing, and we'll have more information on that as it becomes available, I assume. This is the Meta SBAC web page. It doesn't show here, but remember that these digital blasts are archived on this website, so you can always go back and hear them again or refer other people to them. That's metasbac.org. Also, for general smarter balanced field test information, there is a new tab on the opi.mt.gov curriculum and assessment website that's dedicated to just things about smarter balanced field test information. So make use of that, and we will be linking some of this information to that. Today's takeaways were to download secure browsers on each computer individually, use Chromebooks in a managed domain, but the biggest thing was phone a friend, phone a friend, phone a friend. Use that metasbac.org website, get your questions in there, and also try to link up with some of the meta members, because everybody's working through this at the same time, and it's a great collaboration to get the answers that you need. Okay, we're going to quickly open it up for about 4 minutes of questions and answers. I will come on and let us know when the time's up, but if we need to stay on a little longer, we can. I just want to be mindful of everyone's time. So let's go ahead, and Curtis is going to help us out with the questions and answers.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you, Kathleen. We are right in the midst of a number of good questions here. Wyatt Flory asks for how can the spaces be turned off? He's wanting to see that particularly on Mac. So Terry, Robert, do you want to chime in on that one?
I guess I don't
What do you mean by
know that I've had any
spaces turned off?
experience. Yeah.
I had asked Wyatt about that question. He just wants to know.
Spaces is a program on Macs. This is Christine.
Yep.
Spaces is a program on a Mac that you can use to dedicate to just one application off the Launchpad. And my answer to that, Wyatt, is I would just say simply try it and see what works. And there may be someone else on here that that might be able to give you some advice that may have tried that.
And Wyatt,
But
if you're
I can
not
take a
able
look
to
at that
find it, I can
further
look
and
too.
see. Yeah, I can even call SBAC on that.
Okay. Wyatt was also curious as to where the SBAC, the blasts are posted on the SBAC site. Those are going to be, the Tech Blasts link is across the top along with others. The picture that, the screen capture that Kathleen showed earlier was just prior to us adding that. But I can show you if you have trouble. But just on the front page, go to the Tech Blast. It's front and center at the top. Okay, the link for that is. Cindy Glavin's asking if there's any word on when and if iPads are going to be able to be used with the test.
Well, there was a brand new version of the SBAC browser this morning on my iPad, and I downloaded it, and it was the first time I've been able to actually choose a grade, and it seemed to work for me. So I think you have to make sure that your iPads are at 7.2, I believe is the version of the operating system, and then download the latest version of the browser. So today it worked for me. I can't say about tomorrow, but it worked today.
And maybe someone could answer the question for me on iPads. It seems like I had read that if you're going to use them, you do have to have a keyboard available. Is that true or not true?
Yeah, well, I think that's probably recommended. But again, I think that's probably the recommendation. It would be a little difficult to do some of those things without it.
Okay, thank you. Doug Reisig is asking, has there been any discussion from any party about the Apple Secure app used by iPads and potential problems with those?
The biggest discussion I've seen has been on TechRats. So if you are not a member of TechRats, the listserv that is from OPI, I know there's been quite a bit of discussion about that. But again, you know, there's different ideas on this whole thing, and I really encourage people to think about which machine or which device is best for you to use. And I know Billings has made a conscious decision to not use iPads for testing. They actually went with Chromebooks. And here in Lewistown, we have a variety of where some of the schools are using computers, some are using Chromebooks. Others are in the process of testing out. They have end computing stations. So again, I think it's really important if you have the ability to use computers and you're all struggling with iPads, you might be best to put your energy into just getting the computers ready and not use the iPads. If iPads are the only thing you have, then certainly you have to research. But TechRats has been a really good help as well as well as the SBAC project to get that information. But a month ago, I didn't know what I know now. And it just takes diving in and finding people that have had different experiences, just like Rob and I got together and we've been able to teach each other and learn from each other. And it's been real valuable.
Yeah,
I'm
and I
going to
would just
interrupt
add
here,
that,
and
I mean, this is a test
thanks
of
you
the
guys. We're
test.
going to continue. Oh, yeah, sorry, Rob. Didn't know you were talking. This is Kathleen again. I'm going to jump in and just say thank you to you guys. We're going to continue the questions and answers. There's a few more questions that need to be answered, but if you do have to hop off because we said 9:50, I want to continue and remind you again to go to metasbac.org. I don't know, there may be a link to that TechRats that you're talking about, and if there's not, maybe that's something we could add. The next Tuesday, March 11th from 9:30 to 9:50 is going to be walking through all the SBAC resources for technology. And I also want to let you know that there will be a new BLAST series starting next Monday, March 10th from 3:30 to 3:50. It will be on specifically OPI's information on test administration, and the first BLAST on Monday, March 10th from 3:30 will be about TIDE. So look for that information coming out. This will not be the technology side of it, but primarily the test administration side of it. We're going to continue to try and get you as much information as possible. So though that information on how to link to that will be on OPI's Field Test Information website. This is a production of the Montana Digital Professional Learning Network and Innovative Educational Consulting. And with that, we'll continue with our questions and answers. Curtis?
Thank you, Kathleen.
Can I interject here? This is Christine.
Please, Christine.
There's some answers coming up on under the questions that some people have asked, and Cindy has asked Wyatt to give her a call on the spaces. And we also want to let people know Colette Bartow has let us know that keyboards are required, and as are they are required, not recommended, as are the earbuds are required, or earphones for the iPads as well. So thank you everyone for saying or giving us the answers on that. And Greg Hamley also said that Spaces is no longer called Spaces. It's under Keyboard and Mission Control. And he said if you turn off Mission Control, it will allow the secure browser to run. So we'll give that one a try. Thank you, Greg. And that's all. Go ahead, Curtis.
Thank you, Christine. Yeah, I was just going to iterate that we've got a lot of good feedback on the questions today. That being said, Wyatt, I can get you in touch with Cindy, as well as Collet and Danny Wurzberger also had some input on that too. So just making sure that part of the purpose of this whole BLAST series is to make sure that people are connected with the right answers, and a lot of people out in the field have them, whether it's trial and error practice or expertise through manuals or through the blasts even. So make sure we get you all connected after the show today. Other questions? Okay, it looks like we're good. So that being said, Kathleen, I'll let you close. And again, look at the blast for the next Tuesday's blast, as we've been doing for the SBAC Technology Readiness, as well as the Monday at 3:30 show. So Kathleen, I'll let you take it away and close shop. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you to Terry and Rob today. Great job and a great example of collaboration. We cannot do this alone. We have to help each other out. Just a reminder that next Tuesday's blast at 9:30 will be about the resources available for the technology side of the test administration. And then tune in also on Monday at 3:30. You can link to that through OPI's website. It's probably not up yet, but it will be soon, for the test administration side, starting with the TIDE program. So have a great Tuesday. Stay safe on the roads and stay warm. Thank you.